What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. And today we're going to be doing a review of The Batman. Now, again, this is a review of my opinion of this movie, so if you have a different opinion, that's totally fine. I'm just going to give you guys my takes, my opinion, what I thought of the movie. If you have a different opinion, if you saw something that I didn't, or if you think I missed something, then please leave it in the comment section below. Let me know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you thought of the movie. Kind of give me your take, and if you agree with me, disagree with me, that's totally fine. That's part of this. I enjoy having a lot of good, lively discussions as long as we can keep everything kind, and just remember that we're all still movie fans and we're all still comic book and superhero, all these things. We're all fans of them. It just may be that we have different opinions or see things a little bit differently sometimes, and that's okay. That makes it even better. So we'll just go ahead and jump into this. Obviously, I did not watch this movie right when it came out. I lost a lot of anticipation for this movie when I started hearing a little bit more about it. And it kind of became one of those things, the more I heard about it and the more I saw of it, the less excited I got for it. When this movie was first announced, I was really excited for it. I really liked the idea that they were just going to go back and not do a Batman in the DCEU, although I want to see a Batman in that larger DC universe. But I was glad that they still were okay with doing a movie that was outside of that. I wish Marvel would kind of get into that mindset where that they're willing to do other movies that don't have to connect. So I was glad that DC was willing to do that. I liked the idea of getting Robert Pattinson to play Batman just because I have seen him in other movies besides Twilight, and I know what a good actor he is. And so I was actually really anticipating this movie. I was really wanting to see it. And then we started getting some of the pics of, how it was looking. I wasn't super crazy about the Batmobile. The Batsuit itself looked okay. I was fine with it. Robert Pattinson looked fine in it. It looked like it kind of fit more. And then Matt Reeves was starting to talk about the movie, and I was fine with him directing it. I loved the Apes movies, trilogies that he did, and I thought that was really good. I think the big thing that really squelched my anticipation for this movie, though, was when Matt Reeves said that they were going to go darker and grittier than Christopher Nolan's trilogy, because I really thought that was probably about as for me at least, as dark and as gritty and as quote-unquote realistic as I wanted to get, because I thought that even in the Christopher Nolan ones, I thought, well, you could have added more elements of just, I mean, it is a superhero, there are fantastical elements, and to take those away, you're really taking away some of what is meant to be. So I lost a lot of anticipation for it at that point. I thought the trailers were fine, but anyway, I went ahead and I finally saw it yesterday. And my opinion on it, it's okay. It's all right. It's not a movie that I wish I had seen in theaters. I'm totally fine with the fact that I didn't. I know a lot of people said you need to see it in theaters for the cinematography. I actually thought the cinematography for it was fairly weak, and I don't think that it would have been made better by actually being in the theaters, at least not that much. It's not that the cinematography was bad, but I guess it was more the color grading. It was too dark. It made it, in several scenes, it made it, and maybe this is a nitpick on my part, but it made it difficult to see what was going on. I found myself kind of having to squint and really focus, trying to make out what's going on. And I know sometimes that works for what you're doing, but when it's consistent throughout the entire movie, I don't think that's a good thing. And so for me, just the color grading and everything, and I think that part of the reason why they did that was because they were trying to go for this darker, grittier, edgier tone. And that was just one thing that didn't work for me. Okay, one thing that did. I do think that Robert Pattinson did a good job as an actor playing the part that he was given. I do have some serious problems, though, with how the character of Batman was written and used in this movie. The character, I thought the Penguin character was really good. I thought Jim Gordon was really good. I'm blanking on the mob boss's name. Starts with a V. I know I should know. I know I should know this just because I'm a comic nerd and everything, but I'm blanking on it. It's not Maroney, but it's because that's the other one that is mentioned several times. But yeah, if I think of it, I'll say I thought all of that was good. Catwoman was fine. If you take her out of the movie, I don't think you're really missing that much, but she was there and she was fine. That was good. And we'll get to a certain cameo character that makes his little cameo at the end, and then of course is in a deleted scene. We'll get to that at some point too. And this is going, I guess this would be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie yet or you really care about spoilers, then maybe edge away from the rest of this review. But the two characters that I liked the least were the main characters, and that was Batman and the Riddler. I do not like what they did with the Riddler at all. I did not care for his performance. I know that the actor, Paul Dano, I know he is a great actor. I did not care for his performance or his take on the Riddler. I did not care for how the Riddler was written. I thought that every time that I have seen the Riddler, good interpretations of him from the comics or animated movies or whatever you want, even going back to the gold standard of Batman the Animated Series, the Riddler is not a murderous psychopath. He is a thief who is okay with collateral damage. If somebody gets hurt or killed while he's trying to make a buck, he's fine with that, but he's not going out of his way to try to kill people or be psychotic or any way like that. I mean, I guess you could say there was revenge elements, like even in the animated series, there were revenge elements. He was going after that one guy because he had ruined him. So I guess a little bit there, but for the most part, he's more so always just been portrayed as a thief he's okay with collateral damage. Honestly, the character of the Riddler felt much more like the Red Hood to me than he did the Riddler. Now, that's just my take, but it really felt like as they were writing this movie that they thought, okay, here's the villain. This is what we're going to want. This is what we're going to want the villain to do. This is the storyline that we want to have. Now, what villain from Batman's Rogues Gallery can we incorporate into here? And somebody was like, oh, let's just use the Riddler. We'll just do that, and we'll just sprinkle in a few really corny, really weird riddle type things in there, and we'll just say that he's the Riddler. There you go. Doesn't look anything like it. He doesn't portray any. He's just very cringy. I just did not care for it at all. And Batman, Bruce Wayne. First of all, we don't see a whole lot of Bruce Wayne in this movie, which I would rather see more of the Batman in a Batman movie than I would see Bruce Wayne. But Bruce Wayne is a key element to Batman. Bruce Wayne is the mask and the facade. And I think they wanted to do that in this movie, but they really, really missed the ball because there's no facade given. He is very just emo, drudge, very downtrodden acting the entire time when he's Bruce Wayne, and is like, dude, it's very obvious that you're Batman because the way you're acting as Bruce Wayne and the way you act as Batman, there is absolutely no difference. So I don't know if that was a directing choice or an acting choice or just part of the story. I'm leaning towards more that was just part of the story and how it was, but it didn't work. Bruce Wayne needs to be more upbeat. He needs to be more happy and jovial because that is the facade. That is the mask. And there was no happiness in this movie whatsoever. It was all dark. It was all dreary. There was nothing good. Everything was horrible. Life sucks. This movie, yeah, there's nothing good or happy in this movie. And honestly, I think if you take Batman out of this movie and just put just say it's any crime drama movie, it's 10 times better. Because it does work to a degree as a crime drama and thriller, but as a Batman movie, for me, it falls really short. And that was another reason why that I was so hesitant about it, because if you guys know me and you've seen my reviews, you know I think the Christopher Nolan trilogy is a great trilogy of movies, but they're not great Batman movies because they don't really focus on Batman. Batman is a secondary character in his own movies, and they just don't work that well as actual Batman movies. This is another one of those that I feel that it just doesn't work as a Batman movie. They tried to focus on one aspect of who Batman is, and Batman is a very complicated character. So if you're focusing on just one aspect of who he is, whether it's that he's a brilliant fighter and tactician, or like in this movie, the fact that they're trying to focus on he's the greatest detective, or whatever aspect or he's just broken or whatever. If you just focus on that one element, then the other elements are going to be lost, and you don't really have Batman. You have a piece of Batman. And that's what I felt I got with this movie. I got a piece of Batman, and I didn't even feel like it was that good, because they're trying to focus on the fact that he is the world's greatest detective, and he's one step behind in the entire movie. The entire movie, he is one step behind this guy the whole time. And I felt like this movie, the majority of the time, is just makes Batman appear like a moron and an imbecile. And I know he's only in the second year he's still a new Batman. I know he's only in year 2. They make that very clear several times. But still, he comes across as an imbecile to me. He does not know what he's doing. And I hated that flight suit. That flight suit was probably the stupidest thing I have seen in a superhero movie since the Daredevil teeter-totter scene. That has been the stupidest thing I have seen. When they threw that out there, I literally rolled my eyes when he did that zip thing and it just folds around. It's like, okay, so because the whole point is that we're trying to make it more realistic. Okay, fine. So he can't fly with just a cape. Okay, yeah, I get that. But he can have gas-propelled grapples, and he can have a stun thing, and he can have I don't know what he ends up injecting himself with at one point. It looks like venom, like Bane's venom, but I have no clue what that was. So and he can, that was the other thing that really got me. His armor is good enough to withstand being shot by an assault rifle 10 times in a row, point blank. He's got that good of technology for that, but he can't find a better way to glide off of buildings than an entire suit that envelops him. And so you can only use it once. You can only use it one time. And by the way, this Batman is obviously scared of heights, because when he looks over the side, he's like, whoa, So I just don't really care for the way that the character was written. I think Robert Pattinson did a very good job as an actor portraying what he was given. But whoever wrote the script and did all that, it did not understand the character of Batman. They did not understand Batman and who he is. I will stand by that. I don't know who wrote it, but they did not do a good job writing a Batman script. And that's where I think a lot of the issues that I have for this movie are. The car chase scene I thought was fine, although I don't really, after actually seeing the Batmobile in action, it is definitely my least favorite of the Batmobiles because, again, okay, yeah, it's one of those elements of, yeah, we're trying to make it seem realistic. But you have to remember, this is also Bruce Wayne. He's a billionaire. He can get a hold of technology that looks more out there. But nope, he just got some old scrappy muscle car and just pieced together things here and there, and that's his Batmobile. I just didn't care for that. And I know it probably sounds like I really hated this movie, although I will say about halfway through the movie, I was just done with it. It didn't hook me at the very beginning. From the very beginning, I just kind of had a look on my face like, huh? What? Just, and part of that was also just trying to see what was going on too, like I said before. But I felt like this movie insisted upon itself, like it just drug on and on. It felt like it could have been, and you know I'm fine with long movies because I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that's a 4-hour movie, and I love every second of it. So it's not just, and I love the Lord of the Rings trilogies. I watch the extended cuts. There's no other cut to watch. So it has nothing to do with just the fact that it's a long movie. It's that it's long and it doesn't feel like it's doing anything a lot of the time. It just feels like I just did not care for the pacing of it. And yeah, it probably sounds like I really, really just hated this movie. I didn't necessarily hate it, but I didn't really like it that much either. It is probably, I'm trying to think where I would rank this right now. I would definitely say it's a better movie than Batman and Robin and, Batman Forever. It's better than those. I don't think it's better than the Michael Keaton Batmans. And I wouldn't say that it's better than any of the Christian Bale Batmans. It might be a little bit better movie than The Dark Knight Rises, maybe. And I definitely don't like it more than Batman v Superman. I know that's unpopular, but you guys know Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman, and I really like that portrayal, but I know this review has been all over the place. There's just been a lot of things where that I would think, oh yeah, this, and oh yeah, that, but going back over some of the positives, Robert Pattinson did a good job acting. Penguin was good. The gangsters, that was good. The fighting choreography I thought was pretty good for the most part. I did like the fights. Those action scenes were good. The car chase scene was good. The mystery element was fine. I just did not care for the fact that it was the Riddler that they used for that. Oh, and we'll go into here at the end. We'll just do the little cameo at the end that they had and that deleted scene. So they do show the Joker in the deleted scene, and we do hear him talking in that little cameo at the end, and he's talking to the Riddler. I don't know if they're setting something up for. Obviously, they're somewhere down the line they're going to introduce him. The look of the Joker that we see in the deleted scene is fine. I like what they're going for. I just wish they would do a little bit more with it. And I think that really sums up like all of this movie. This thing as a whole. This was a really frustrating movie for me because there were a lot of pieces and elements that I liked. Like, I like what you're going for, but you didn't get there. So even with the Joker, I like that they're going for the more scarred, burn victim look, like he actually was dropped in acid. I like that distorted, really kind of gnarly look. I would just, if I'm speaking for myself, I would like a little bit more whiting, like a little bit more white skin, a little bit more green hair. Don't be afraid of that fantastical element. Like, they're trying to make it too, I like what they're shooting for, but trying to make it too realistic at the same time. Like, no, we can have it seem plausible, but still be fantastic at the same time. And I know that that's a hard line to balance, but I think it can be done. So, but I'm glad that they did delete that scene, because that scene was just, to me, another aspect of showing the incompetence of who Batman is. That he has to go to the he has to stoop down to go to the Joker for help. The cameo was fine. Having him in there, I don't have a problem with it. I know, so I heard some reviewers saying that they didn't like that they even just threw him in there. It's fine. His little riddle joke that he does is, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, sad to say, guys, I did not really care for the movie that much. If you haven't seen it, I can't really recommend for you to watch it, to spend 3 hours watching it. But unless you've just really, really been anticipating it, then yeah, go ahead and check it out. Oh, also, I thought Commissioner Gordon was really good. I thought the actor that did Commissioner Gordon, I really liked his character. I thought he was really good. So, to sum this all up, I think if I was giving this movie a grade, I think I would probably give it a 4 or a 5 out of 10. I know that sounds really harsh, but there were just a lot of elements that to me were lacking, or were just misinterpreted, or just not done right. Just wasn't really my style or taste for what I was really looking for, or what I look for in a superhero movie. I don't mind superhero movies that are darker or grittier, but this wasn't that. This was not, in my opinion, true to the character of who Batman is and who he should be. There were just key elements of his character that were missing. And again, the biggest aspect being that of Bruce Wayne and that facade, because the facade was just missing. Or him just being portrayed as kind of being incompetent and needing a lot of help, and just, there were just problems there. There were a lot of problems for me that kept me from really being able to enjoy and recommend this movie. If you have HBOMax and you really want to check it out, then go for it. If you don't have HBOMax, I can't really encourage somebody to subscribe to HBOMax just to watch the Batman. So those are my takes on it, guys. Like I say, 4, maybe 5 out of 10. What did you guys think of the movie? Did you enjoy it? Were there elements there that really, really worked for you? If you've seen the movie, if you liked it or didn't like it, that's all cool. Let me know in the comment section. I would really, really like to hear your guys' opinions of it. I would like to get your takes on it, whether you agree with me or not. And then if you haven't seen it, I'd like to know, are you planning on seeing it? Does my review help you kind of gauge where your excitement level should be for this? Or are you still looking forward to watching it? Are you going to watch it anyway? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And until next time, guys, keep geeking out.